Whispering shadows. The sun had just begun its descent behind the towering pines as the final embers of daylight flickered across the sky. Summer camp had been an adventure so far, but I could never have imagined what the night would bring. My name is Ethan, and I was 13 years old when I stumbled upon an ancient burial ground hidden deep within the woods surrounding Camp Ravenwood. It all started innocently enough during a game of hide-and-seek with my fellow campers. I thought I had found the perfect hiding spot, an old rotting tree stump in the heart of the dense forest. As I squeezed myself into the confined space, I couldn't help but notice a strange glow emanating from beneath the moss-covered ground. Curiosity getting the better of me, I brushed away the foliage, revealing a peculiar pattern etched into the earth. It looked like an intricate series of spirals and symbols, nothing like I had seen before. Ignoring the instinctual shiver that crept up my spine, I couldn't resist the urge to investigate further. As I traced the patterns with my fingers, a sudden chill enveloped the air. Goosebumps erupted on my skin and my heart raced, as if warning me to stop. I should have heeded those warnings, but my fascination got the better of me. My fingertips brushed against something hard and cold. I gently unearthed a stone amulet, its surface adorned with the same enigmatic symbols as the ground. The moment my hand wrapped around the amulet, the forest around me seemed to hush, as if it sensed the intrusion. I quickly returned to camp, tucking the amulet away into my pocket, intending to examine it later. As night descended upon us, I joined the others around the campfire, trying to shake off the feeling that something had changed since my discovery. Throughout the evening, the whispers of the forest grew louder, and the wind carried an unnatural moan that sent shivers down our spines. Our camp counselors tried to dismiss the eerie ambience as the product of overactive imaginations, but we all felt the presence of something inexplicable. As bedtime neared, I retreated to my cabin, hoping the comfort of my bunk would dispel the haunting feeling. But the shadows danced ominously on the walls, and the silence was deafening. My mind kept drifting back to the amulet I had found, wondering if it held any connection to the unsettling occurrences. Unable to resist the temptation, I retrieved the amulet from my pocket and examined it under the faint glow of my flashlight. The symbols seemed to shimmer, pulsating with an eerie aura. Feeling a strange, irresistible urge, I placed the amulet around my neck, and a wave of exhaustion washed over me. My dreams that night were vivid, distorted visions of ancient rituals, shadowy figures, and a whispering voice that seemed to resonate from within the amulet. I woke up drenched in cold sweat, with an overwhelming sense of dread gnawing at my mind. The days that followed were a blur of unease and apprehension. The forest's atmosphere had grown increasingly sinister, and each night, the haunting whispers seemed to draw closer to our campsite. I couldn't shake the feeling that I had awakened something ancient and malevolent. One evening, while sitting around the campfire, the camp counselor shared an old legend about Camp Ravenwood. According to the tale, the camp was established on a sacred burial ground, and disturbing the site would awaken vengeful spirits seeking retribution for their disturbed slumber. As the counselor spoke, my eyes met his, and I knew he sensed the truth behind the story. As the nights wore on, strange events began to unfold around camp. Campers reported seeing shadowy figures lurking in the woods, and objects seemed to move on their own. A palpable sense of fear hung in the air, and the camp counselors struggled to maintain a facade of calm for our sake. One night, unable to bear the unease any longer, I ventured back into the woods, hoping to find the burial ground again and somehow put an end to the escalating supernatural occurrences. The forest felt different under the moonlight, more alive yet more sinister. The shadows seemed to stretch and twist, taunting me as I delved deeper into the unknown. Finally, after hours of searching, I stumbled upon the ancient burial ground once more. The symbols glowed faintly in the dark, and an overwhelming sense of foreboding gripped my heart. I knew I had to do something. But what? As I stood there, contemplating my next move, the ground beneath me rumbled, and the symbols seemed to come alive. A chill shot up my spine, and the amulet around my neck grew warm, almost as if it were responding to the ancient power. The ground cracked open, revealing a gaping chasm leading into darkness. A haunting wail echoed from the depths, and a figure began to emerge, a spectral being with hollow eyes and twisted limbs. Panic consumed me, but I couldn't tear my gaze away. The ancient spirit stared directly at me, and its hollow eyes bore into my soul. I felt a surge of energy within the amulet, as if it were trying to protect me from the malevolent presence. But my instincts told me that the amulet was not my salvation. It was the cause of all this horror. Summoning every ounce of courage I had left, I tore the amulet from my neck and hurled it into the chasm. The moment the amulet touched the ground, the spectral figure let out a guttural scream, and the chasm sealed shut, swallowing the amulet and the malevolent spirit with it. Silence returned to the forest, and the shadows seemed to retreat. The oppressive aura that had enveloped the camp dissipated, and the whispers vanished. The ordeal was over, but the memory would haunt me forever. The next morning, the camp counselors announced that Camp Ravenwood would be closing early due to unforeseen circumstances. We were sent home, and the memory of that night would linger in my mind for years to come. To this day, I can't help but wonder if the ancient burial ground still lies hidden in the woods, waiting for the next curious soul to disturb its slumber. I've learned that some things are best left untouched, and the consequences of meddling with the supernatural can be far more terrifying than we could ever imagine. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel for more stories. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me create more great content for you. Until next time.